let's take a look at a very simple example of using a VLOOKUP. So a VLOOKUP is used when you want to match data. So here we want to find the number of clients that each of these people have, perhaps they're salespeople or something. And we can obviously look for Joe Soap. We see this is their email address, and here we can find Joe Soap, so he must have 10 clients, so we can put that in there. But if you have a very long list, it's going to take a lot of time. And we can see that there's a common variable here. We have email addresses. So what we can do is we can use a VLOOKUP. So we're going to say, let's use a VLOOKUP, and we're going to search for this specific key. And the range that we're looking for it in, which you can find over here, is where we're looking for that information. So we're going to look for it in here. And then we are going to put the index. So once it finds it, what should it give us? Should it give us column 1 or column 2? So we want column 2, so we're going to choose 2. And then we are going to choose if we want it only if it's an exact match, so only if the email is exactly the same. If that's the case, you're going to type false. Or if it's almost approximate match, then you're going to type true. Most of the time, you're going to want false. You're then going to click enter, and now you'll see it will say we have 10. We can then copy that down, and it will give us each of those numbers. And if we look here, we'll see that there's 63. And if we look here, we'll see that it's 63. So it's copied it all across appropriately. One thing to note is I made the range the whole column. If you'd made the range the selected data, so if I'd made the range just this table and clicked enter, then if I copied this down, it wouldn't necessarily give me the right data because this table would move down every single time. And so you'll see all of a sudden it can't find this email in the move down table. And that's when locking cells is really important. So we learned about it earlier. So here we would lock that, remember, by going F4 or function F4. And now when we copy it down, it will stay with the same table the whole time. So here you'll see no matter where we are, the same table applies and it pulls through all the data. So that's a very basic example of a VLOOKUP. You need to have 2 sets of data. There has to be something similar. And what you're doing is you're saying, go and look for whatever's in BC, the email address. Go look for it in this other source of information. And this source of information must include 2 things. Firstly, where that information can be found. So I included this column because that's where you should find the email. And secondly, what you wanted to return. So that's why I needed to include both these columns, because I had to include where you'd find the email and the output. I wanted it to return the number of clients, so I had to include both of those. So that's the range. It has to include what it must find and also what it must give you back. The index is telling it what it should give you back. So that would be the column. So we've selected 2 columns and we want it to give us back column 2. So find it in column 1 and give me back whatever is in column 2. And then the last part is determining if you want an exact match and then it would be false, or if you want an approximate match and then it would be true. But in most cases, you're going to need to use an exact match. This works exactly the same in Excel, so you can apply it in Excel as well.